Oh, and something's off. Oh, another thing is this is a troubleshooting thing, and this may be why it's off. It likes a lot of light. If when you cut it out, you find that your machine has not cut correctly, it may be because there was not enough light in the room, and I have kind of dim in here, so well, yeah, it seems to be doing okay. Oh no, it's doing something weird. Oh, I know what it is. It's cutting the handle out. I'm watching this. I wish I could show you guys, but I was unable to get my new fancy computer. What do you call it? Camera set up to demo this. This is one of those things, though, that if you do have a machine, try it out. It's a piece of paper. It's a piece of cardstock. When you buy cardstock, I don't recommend you buy the cheapest stuff you can find because it's actually kind of hard to cut. So buy decent cardstock. I like Park Lane from Joann's is nice. Oh boy, here we go. It's finished. Okay, now I'm going to unload my mat, come back here, and we're going to see what we got. I think it worked. We're going to come back over here. I'm going to stop the screen share, and yeah, here we go. So I'm looking for my spatula. Those of you who have taken a class before know that I'm going to tell you to take the mat off the paper, not the paper off the mat. If I start pulling on this, it's going to curl this really badly. So I'm going to flip this over and start pulling the paper off. I like, this is the Silhouette spatula. I like it. The edge of it is sharp. I find it very handy. The Cricut tools, they have a bigger spatula. Looks like this. Come here, you. But it's not sharp at all. So in paper, that's fine. For this, I'm not worried about it. You know, you just want to kind of guide that off. Kind of, you can see it. I have a piece left on here. I'm going to need to clean that off eventually. I'm not going to worry about it right now. All right, so it's all off the mat. Let's see what we got here. Oh my gosh. So that, you know what I meant to do and I forgot was to put a score line down the middle of this, but I can just fold it. So not punch a little hole in the corner, and there I have a gift tag. In case anybody's wondering, Grace is my daughter. So now I've got this. See all the score lines. This is where you have some fun. There's a lot of times you don't get any instructions with this, but it's really kind of intuitive. If it's got a score line, fold it. Fold that up. Fold this up. We'll see if I figured this out, if I guessed correctly. Fold that. That was what was cutting out in the middle. This is a little handle. Isn't it cute? A little heart cut out of it. It's literally the name of the file. Box with little heart handle. Now, you can use a lot of different things to seal that up. None of which are sitting. No, here we go. I have a little glue. You can use a tape runner if you have that. So now that I have it all folded up, unfold it. Put a little glue. A little glue. Do these one at a time. Make sure that light is bright. Can you guys see this, or is that light too bright? On my screen, it is really hard to see.
I can see it.
Oh, okay. Yes, I did print it. I printed it on my regular old Epson printer. Yep. Oh, and here's a hint on that. Regardless of what material you're using, send it through one piece at a time. I don't know if you've ever done a lot of printing, but one of the things that can happen when you say I wanted to make 10 of these things, sounds like a pain in the neck. You know, I'm doing treat boxes or something, to send them one at a time. But if I tell it to print 15, 10 of them, the printers have a tendency to pull the paper in unevenly. And it could, and because there's some precision with this, you really need to do them one at a time. And I mean, it'll do things like catch it and print totally on the wrong spot. Oh, I didn't. I did it right. I think, yes. So here's my little box. Come on. Yeah. So I printed this on my printer. I took my 12 by 12 piece of paper and I cut it down to 8.5 by 11. So it would go through my printer until I get my new fancy printer set up. And then, yep. Okay. So that's all together. And see, it says, happy birthday, Grace. Her birthday's not till November. And so now you got to figure out how to close this. You do it that way. Oops. Let's fold this one. All right, fold that one. And that's got a little fold there. Oh, geez, this is like complicated. Put that like that. And like that. Oh, come on, get in there. Oops. These things always work so well when you're doing it on camera. Come on, you little Dickens. There we go. Get in there. Come on. You little stinker. All right, I don't want to push it too hard because I'm not sure this glue is, well, I know it's not dry. So there's my birthday box. Print and cut. Like I said, this is either a purchased or I got a free file for a box. And then I just added the fills and all that other stuff. So there's your cardstock. And look, there's my little gift tag. I don't know what I'm putting there for. Probably money because she's 20 and so, you know, that's what she wants. I'm going to have some fun now. I need to take these scrap pieces of paper off. I'd like to say a word about mats. This is not a silhouette mat. It's by a company called, is it Nicapa?
Actually, Linda, there is a question now, Linda.
Yes. Yes.
Is there any tips to remember how to get the Tuesday free image?
Well, given that I have forgotten the last couple of weeks because I haven't been sitting on my computer, yeah, you're working up the wrong tree asking me to tell you how to remember stuff. I'm sorry, I'm not laughing at you. I'm totally laughing at myself. One of the things I would, when I'm not setting up my space, I want to have my space set up so that I can begin to do all the great things I want to be able to do, including sharing that information every week with a link on my Facebook group and doing that sort of, because it is easy to forget. And I also get notifications and all this other free stuff pops up from design bundles and font bundles and I don't know, somebody else's bundles. It just, you know, there's a lot of really neat stuff out there. So that's one of my goals. But the problem is right now I literally am surrounded by boxes and stuff. So my promise to the world is that I'm going to get it done by March 2nd. Is I have a meeting of a group of us that are getting together a couple times a month to help each other get things done, and that's my thing. So wish me luck. Okay, so what do we want to do now? We want to do something that looks like the project that you're going to do. So I'm going to go over to sharing my screen and I'm going to go back into Silhouette Studio and say, thank you very much. You did a lovely job. And I'm going to go over to this Happy Mother's Day, which is, again, something I downloaded. I might have purchased it or not. If I purchased it, it was probably 99 cents. You can, when you buy things from the Silhouette design store, you can, on many of them, purchase a commercial use font if you want to be able to print and, make these things to sell. If it's just the right thing to do. As someone who also designs things, it really doesn't go over well with me when people say, well, it's just a few things, but if you want to get these things and make 100 gifts for somebody, go to town. So I know that my board that you like, the ones that you guys have are, I want to say they're 4x4. Let me see, I wrote that down. Let's see. Yeah. So the biggest you really want something like this is about 3.5 by 3.5. Well, the good news is it's 3.5 wide, but it is. And the other issue is you have to realize it's measuring it from this gray line, and there is some space in here. So that's one nice thing about having these lines on here. This thing is actually 1, 2, 3, and just over 3.5 inches from the top of the design to the bottom. So I could make it a little bit dinkier because I can count lines. And then I know that it'll fit on that board that I have and still have some room around the edge. It won't overlap. So the thing is I'm going to print this on that paper, that transfer paper, and it's going to go ink side down. So I need to flip this horizontally. Again, I would right click on that and flip it. Now, if I just printed this one out, that means the rest of this paper is pretty much useless. So we don't want to do that. So I'm going to cut more than one out. I'm going to, I mean, there's lots of different ways to make more than one. You can, with that object selected, you can hit Control D. I'll get another one and then I can just move it to where I want it. The other thing I can do, I'm curious about something. I want to go over to, sorry, I got a Post-it note covering everything, to our replicate panel. And I'm curious if I tell it to fill the page. Now, the thing I want to note while we're here, I want you to look at this corner. This is not the design. You see how that's over in that hash marks? It's not, that's not the problem. If I did this, or, if I, tried to stuff as many in here as I can and I got it up in there, it's going to mess the machine up in terms of being able to read where to cut. So I'm gonna set that there. It's the right size, and I'm going to tell it to fill the page, and we'll see what happens. Sometimes it's pretty fussy. It's telling me it really only wants to do 2. I'm going to move these around. See, I think I can do 4. So I'm going to select both of those. Yeah, okay. So I selected one. I held down the Shift key. I select them. I now have both of them. I'm going to duplicate those down there. Looks good. Okay. First thing I need to do, first thing I'm going to do is save that. This is, you remember from my last class or one of my classes, when you bring in a design, the best thing to do is to write that in there, save it as something else. That way you have the original design where it lives. And if you change things around, or like for example, with this box, if I wanted to make more of these, I have this box living someplace else, and I saved this not as the original name of that was fold over box with little heart tab. I saved it in a different place. The fold over box without all the stuff is saved in my library. This file is saved on my hard drive. So you either need to save it someplace else or rename it. So here we are. Happy Mother's Day. Now, I'm going to go ahead and print this. I'm going to put this in my printer. Open that up. Find the stuff. Put this somewhere. Now, in my printer, when you open the drawer, there's a little picture in there. It's going to tell me which side I need down or up, depending on how you want to think about it, to print on the correct side. This particular paper, this is the Silhouette transfer paper, has red lines on the back of it, so you know that's not the side you want to print on. So I have an empty drawer here. I'm gonna do one thing at a time. And I'm gonna pop that back in there, and I'm going to tell this thing to print. So let's go to print. Here's my print preview. You see everything's backwards. And I'm going to tell it to print. And we'll hope for the best. And my printer needs my attention. It's low on ink. Sorry, printer. Let's see if this works. Oh, there it goes. The excitement building. We need dramatic music in here. Any questions while we're waiting for this?
Nope, don't see any.
Okie doke. I'm going to show this to you. Ooh, that's pretty. So it printed out. You see my registration marks?